Hello everyone and welcome! This is your first small group math recording with Mrs. Morley. Get your brain ready and get out your math notebook so we can work together. Have a piece of paper and pencil handy. Let's begin. So, what are we learning today? Today we will read, write, and compare 6-digit numbers and look at place value. Our SOLs, or Standards of Learning, are 3.1a, read and identify the place value of each digit in a 6-digit whole number, and 3.1c, compare and order whole numbers 9,999 or less. Let's begin. So, as a review, I wanted to take a look at this number. Here we see the number 647,153. But it's important to remember that each digit in this number has a value. I like to start at the right and identify the value of each place. We have the ones, the tens, the hundreds, the thousands, the 10,000s, and the 100,000s. Oftentimes, we can separate this out into two sides, the one side and the thousand side. I like to, when I add or subtract, add lines such as this to keep my place value organized. Now I know that each digit isn't just representing that number. It's representing that number and the place value it's in. For example, the 5 in this number is not 5 ones, it's 5 tens, so its value would be 50. Let's take a closer look and take this apart. Well, let's start by talking about why this is important. Place value helps you understand that every digit in a number has a certain value. Our example is number 168. Take a moment and think about this. The digit 1 is greater than the digit 8. But why? Do you think you have an answer yet? Let's take it apart. 168. I've put it in my place value chart. Let's start by looking at the 8. I notice that it's in the ones. Well, 8 ones is equal to the number 8. Next, let's look at our digit 1. That is in the hundreds place, so that is 1/100, which equals 100. Oh, so the digit 1 is greater because its value is actually 100. That makes total sense. Thank goodness we had this place value chart. Let's break it down further. 168. We're also going to take this number and put it in expanded form. So let's start with our hundreds. 1/100. There's our 1/100 over there on our base 10. Okay, next up we have our tens, 6 tens. There they are, 6 10 rods. And finally, 8 ones. Okay, 8 ones. Now we can write the value below. So 1/100 equals 100. 6 tens, well, I would count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Oh, 6 tens has a value of 60. And 8 ones. Well, I just have to count those by 1. 8 ones is 8. So this number written in expanded form is 100 plus 60 plus 8. Now I can see the value of each digit because I've expanded or exploded the number out. We can write each number in 4 ways. Let's talk about the 4 ways we write numbers, starting with the first way, standard form. Standard form is simply writing the number. 168 looks like this when we use numbers. Next is our written form. This is using the words to write the number, so we know the number is 168. Written out, it looks like this, 168. We just spoke about expanded form, where we added up each digit individually, and we got 100 plus 60 plus 8. And we also know that we can use a model, or base 10 blocks. Let's take a look at what that looks like one more time. One group of 100, 6 tens, and 8 ones. 168. We can represent the same number 4 different ways. Wow, that is pretty neat. So now, let's take a little bit more practice in expanding our numbers. The first thing I'd like to do is label my place. We have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s. Did you all notice how I turned my paper sideways? I did this because I like to keep my place value organized, and the lines help me do that. What we're going to do is we are going to start by expanding each number, and we place that digit first underneath of itself. Let's start with the 10,000s. Well, the value of the 6 in 10,000s is 6 10,000s. Well, that would be 60,000. Notice the 6 stays under itself, and then everything to the right becomes a 0. There are the same number of digits in this number, but we only wanted to identify the value of the 6, and the 6 is 60,000. Next, let's take a look at the thousands place, 2,000s. 2,000s, its value is 2,000. Up next is the hundreds, 300s. 300s has a value of 300. 2 tens is up next, 2 tens, 10, 20. Oh, 2 tens has a value of 20. And finally, we have our 7 ones, which has a value of 7. We've expanded this number, and we've used line paper to organize, also using a place value chart. So when we write it in expanded form, all we're doing is moving these numbers into an addition sentence. 60,000 plus 2,000 plus 300 plus 20 plus 7 gives us 62,327. We were able to write this number in expanded form by identifying the value of each digit. Let's try another one. Here we have 40,731. Notice Mr. Einstein's already asking about that 0. Let's see if you know what to do when we come to it. Let's start, of course, by identifying our place value first. We have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s. Okay, let's get to work by starting in the 10,000s. 4 10,000s has a value of 40,000. Notice how I keep everything lined up. I kept the 4, everything to the right became a 0. Now we have this thousands place, and notice there's a 0 there. Well, 0 of anything is going to be 0. So in this case, I'm actually going to leave this line blank, and I'm just going to move on to my hundreds. 700s. 700s has a value of 700. 3 tens has a value of 30, and 1 1 has a value of 1. So I didn't put anything for the thousands place because we call that a placeholder. That 0 is very important because it lets us know there are 0 thousands, and it keeps the 4 in the 10,000s place and the 7 in the hundreds. But we don't actually need to put it into our addition sentence when we expand it, because adding 0 to anything is still going to be that number. So here for our expanded form, we have 40,000 plus 700 plus 30 plus 1. We've identified the value of every digit in this number. Awesome job, friends. So, it is time to check in. Are you ready to show what you know? Attached to this recording is a survey link. On that survey link, you will see these 3 questions. For number 1, you're going to have to tell me, what is the value of the underlined digit in 645,308? For number 2, you're going to have to tell me which of these numbers has a 3 in it with a value of 3,000. Look closely because there's a 3 in all those numbers. And number 3 is a true or false question. The underlying digit is in the 10,000ths place. Is that true or false? Remember, all of these you can complete on the attached survey. The questions will be there as well. Let's move on. So, how can we use place value to compare? Everything in math is connected. Now remember, let's review our symbols. We have the is greater than, is less than, and equal to symbol. We can write it by tracing the alligator's mouth. Remember, the alligator always eats the larger number. Is greater than and is less than. Let's take a look at how we can break down place value to compare our numbers. Here, I want to compare 3 numbers, 6,818, 6,801, and 6,881. Now to do that, I'm going to break it down and expand each of these numbers. Now, let's start by identifying how many places. We have a ones, a tens, a hundreds, and a thousands place. Let's start by writing the value of the digit in the thousands place of each of these numbers. I hope you're seeing what I'm seeing, that the thousands place, each of these has a 6 in the thousands place. So in 6,818, the 6 is worth 6,000. The thousands place in the next number is 6,000. And in 6,881, the thousands place is 6,000. The value of the thousands place was all the same, making it really hard to compare. Remember, in order to compare, we want to see a difference. If we get to the end of the number and they're all the same, we'll know they're equal. But I have a feeling we're going to be able to compare here. Let's move on to the hundreds place. Okay, in our first number, I'm going to underline an 8. Okay, an 8 in the hundreds place has a value of 800. My next number, oh, it also has an 8 in the hundreds place. That has a value of 800. What about my third number? Yep, that's an 8 in the hundreds place too, so that also has a value of 800. I'm not able to compare these numbers just yet because it looks like their values are very similar. Let's move to the tens place. I'm going to circle the digit in the tens place in our first number. Okay, there's a 1 there. Well, a 110, 110 is worth 10. The next number is 6,801. There's a 0 in the tens place here. A 0, 0 tens, well that has a value of 0. And my last number has an 8 in the tens place. 8 tens equals 80. Oh, now these numbers are different. I think I'm going to be able to compare here, but let's go ahead and finish our expanded form. Last, we have our ones. Okay, an 8 in the ones. 8 ones is 8. Next up, a 1 in the ones. That value is 1. And another 1 in the ones. That value is 1. So if I wanted to compare these numbers, I first noticed that, well, my thousands are the same. My hundreds are the same. But my tens are different. So here is where I compare. Let's see, we have 10, 0, and 80. Which of these numbers is largest? Which of these is smallest? Can you figure it out? The 80 here is our largest number, which means that because this 80 was our highest digit that was different, that means that 6,881 is going to be the largest number here. And our smallest was the 0. That means that 6,801 is going to be the smallest number here. Now we're able to compare. Let's use a different chart to kind of keep things organized. Okay, we are ready to order and compare these numbers. Now, we just said that 6,881 was our largest number, so that's going to stay to the left because that alligator is going to eat that larger number. We also know that 6,801 was our smallest number, so I'm going to put that one all the way to the right. And that means the number in the middle, or in between these two, was 6,818. So we would read this number sentence by saying 6,881 is greater than 6,818, which is greater than 6,801. We used place value to determine this. Let's see if there's another strategy we can use. I love using steps to compare. Let me read the steps and then we'll break it down. The first thing you want to do when you compare numbers is circle the digit in the greatest place on both numbers. Let's take a look at an example so we can see if we can apply it here. Here we see 7,893 compared to 954. Well, the first step is to circle the digit in the greatest place on both numbers. Well, for this one it's the 7, and here it's the 9. Number 2, write down the value of those numbers below. Compare if you can. Okay, well let's see, 7 in the thousands place. That value is 7,000. A 9 in the hundreds place. That value is 900. Oh, we can totally compare here. 7,000 is bigger or greater than 900. Therefore, I know 7,893 is greater than 954. Okay, great. Okay, so let's see our next example. 452,302 compared to 457,100. Okay, let's circle the digit in the greatest place. A 4 in the hundreds place and a 4 in the hundreds place. Well, the value of that is 400,000 on both sides. Well, 400,000 is equal to 400,000. So I need to look at step number 3. It says go to the digit to the right and write down the value below. Compare if you can. Okay, so let's look at the digit to the right. Okay, a 5 in the 10,000s, a 5 in the 10,000s. Well, that's worth 50,000 on both sides. That's equal as well. So we need to go again to the right to see if we can compare. Let's take a look at our thousands place. A 2 in the thousands place, a 7 in the thousands place. So 2,000s is going to be 2,000. 7,000s is going to be 7,000. Oh, wait, now this is much easier to compare. The numbers kind of looked big and scary at first, but I can compare 2,000 and 7,000. 2,000 is definitely smaller or less than 7,000. Therefore, 452,302 is less than 457,100. Oh, wow, place value really helps me break down these larger numbers so I can compare them easier. Great job! So now it's time for your last check-in. Are you ready to show me what you know? I want to know which symbol completes the math sentence. 5,698 blank 5,703. Remember, complete this on the attached survey. So let's review. Here's what you are able to do after today. You can write a number in standard, expanded, and written form. I know that you can use models to represent numbers, especially those base 10 models. And you understand place value helps us compare numbers. So, what's next? The first thing I want you to do is complete the attached survey so I know you are finished. That'll let me know that you have watched our recording and you are ready for our small group on Wednesday, where we are going to practice this even more. And the second thing I want you to do is make sure you complete your interactive notebook with your Math Monday materials. You have all week to complete this skill, but I want to make sure you have a good head start. This will better prepare you for fully understanding your standards of learning. Have a great day, everyone.